Hi, my name is Jamie Paris with Cinegration Development, and today we want to talk about something that every integration company struggles with at some point. That would be notifications and their consistency in your Control4 project. Yes, we know notifications can be handled inside Control4, but there's no real standard for what should be sent, how it should be delivered, or how clients should manage those notifications themselves. Trust me, we ran into the same frustrations. Limited flexibility and features, jumping between multiple notification agents to send the right notification, and extra programming time just to get the right alert to the right client. So we decided to fix it, and that's why we created our Integrator Tools Experience Bundle for Control4. At the core of this bundle is our Integrator Tools Agent Driver, which centralizes push, email, text-to-voice, and pop-up notifications into one streamlined solution. We also included a web UI for the clients to manage their own notifications, along with pre-built alerts designed to keep both your clients and your service team informed. So let's jump in and show you how this all works. With our installation company, we like to set up a client dashboard. And in X4, it would be just the home page. We like to show, the statuses of all their key items in their home, right? Whether that's their garage doors, their front doors, their batteries, if they have any water sensors that have a leak, things like that. You'll see here's our new My Notifications web UI, which we'll get into as well. As we said, this is an agent driver, so you'll find it in the Agents tab of Control4. So it has really easy setup, and again, we allow email, push, text-to-voice, and Navigator pop-ups, but let's first get started with your emails. So I'm going to go ahead and load up our web UI as well here. I'm going to scroll over to the setup, go there, and you'll see I have my email setup settings here as well. Here we have 4 different email groups. You have owner, integrator, manager, and other, and you see the client has access to the owner, manager, and other. We don't want them to be changing your integrator email that you've set up to get your service email, things of that nature. We also added in the default subject line for the owner, manager, and other, and then we also added in another default subject line of integrator, so you could see it by project name coming into your email box. This would look something like this. You'll see it's separated by project name. So if I wanted to just search for my house, I could type in Paris, and then it just shows me all of the emails that have happened at my house. So if my service tech rolls up to their house, they could look through those emails to see if they have any recent emails that pertain to the issue they might be having at their house. We also allow it to have a default from name. You could also add in a reply to address. So if your customer is getting an email, you could tell them they could reply to it and it'll go to your service department. Now, just to show you this, if I were to go into this web UI here and I were to come in here and let's say I don't want info, I want to put it as Jamie P at Cindev, and I hit check, it automatically changes it, updates it right away. That's how quickly this all works. One of my favorite features of our email notifications is the ability to add in camera snapshots. You'll see in this example, we have 6 cameras attached to this email. So if you have, let's say their house is an alarm, you can say, attention Smith's family, the house is an alarm, take action now. That's a very cool feature that our email notifications have in this driver. So that's it for the emails. Let's go ahead and look at our push notifications. So you'll see here, we just have it set to the category of security, the severity of alert, and then they can add in their own push notifications. So let's say they wanted to change this from My City Smart Home to something, let's say it's a Paris Cottage or something, My Paris Cottage or My Mountain House. They could easily change that there. And the subject line is changeable by the customer. So if I were to come in here, hi YouTube, and hit check, there it is, automatically updates there. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. But that just shows you how quickly these change and update into the web UI as well. Now let's get into the text-to-voice announcements that we've created. So you can do text-to-voice announcements 3 different ways. You could do them through a Control4 announcement, through the Control4 touchscreens, or through Sonos speakers. If there are any other products you'd like us to add to this, let us know and we will research it and try to add those in. I'm going to start with the announcement agent because most Control4 systems will have that. So here you'll say create new announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then it went ahead and created this one. I'll select it. If I want to rename it, I can. I'm going to call this one main voice announcement. Okay, that's done. Once I hit set, it'll automatically load up in the announcement agent. So I'm going to go to my announcement agent. I'm going to go down here. Now I just need to add my speakers. So let's say I'm going to add in the kitchen, upper patio, lower patio, and call it good, right? And then I could set my volumes. Let's just do this here. And then if I wanted to add in touchscreens, I could do that here as well. So I could add in touchscreens to this one voice announcement as well. And then that's where all your voice announcements you do through programming or through our custom built messages will fire off to. For this demo, I am going to just use my Sonos speaker. So let me go back here. But I'll just show you quickly how the touchscreens works. If I were to go into here, you can see I could just select all my touchscreens. Let me just do all these here. Hit OK, hit set. I'm set to 100. So those are set. Now let me do, like I said, for the demo, I'm going to use my Sonos speaker here at my office. So here you're able to pick the language, just so I can explain this here. The language is set to whatever region your Control4 system is in. I am in America, so it uses the US voice models. And then you can choose between the gender, male or female, and then the list of models here. You can set a delay if you want as well. So here, and then you could also fire off a test trigger. So I'm just going to say, hi, YouTube. Hope you enjoy this setup video. Okay, I'm going to hit set. And if I were to go ahead and fire this off, we should hear it here briefly.
Hi YouTube, hope you enjoy this setup video.
So there's how easily you can do voice, text to voice notifications in your Control4 system. As for the web UI, we allow them to change the gender or the model. If you think you want to allow them to pick the output, we could definitely do that as well. But for the start of this, we just wanted them to be able to change those items there as well. What's kind of cool too is if they wanted to test any of these alerts, they could test them. So if they wanted to do a voice alert here, they could also send that test. So this is a test alert.
This is a test alert.
So they could type in their own message. They could just use this app as like a voice announcer in their house if they wanted to as well. So we think that's pretty cool. And now let's go ahead and just get into the last notification type, which is your Navigator pop-ups. Again, here, these will go to your Control4 UI. So like if you have the Control4 navigators go on any TVs, you can access that here. And then you could also do these different touchscreens as well. So for the demo, I'm going to turn off my main level touchscreen and my bathroom touchscreen and just have my office here. So to show this in action, I'm going to go ahead and test this. So we'll just I'll put it on my camera here. So I'm going to go over here to my web UI. I'm going to say I want to do a pop-up alert, and I'm going to hit test. And it should say this is a test alert, which you see there. And you're also able to put in your company logo if you want, right here in the default image URL. So you can put in your company logo there as well. And here you could set the display time and to show the OK button to get rid of it or not. So that's everything in our Navigator pop-up. Briefly, I want to show you our My Notifications web UI driver before we move on to the pre-built notifications. So in system design, you would just search for notification. It's called the Integrator Tools Dashboard. I call it My Notifications for the client. You could enter in a PIN number. So if you want to be able to access this with a PIN number before you see these items, you could do that. We have 6 different themes you can choose from, all different color schemes for this web UI, which I think is really cool. And you could also change the icon of the My Notifications. If I were to go out here and if I wanted to say, okay, I want style A, you can do that one. You could do B or C. Okay, so there's just different types. I like B, so let me go ahead and just leave it at that. Let me go back in. And what's cool too is you see under the events, it stores all the history of every event that happens, all the notification events. If you tie in other Integration Plus or Detection Plus drivers, those events show up as well. So you'll see I have voice alerts, I have battery levels, I have main garage doors closed, I have main garage doors left open. So something that's very simple for your clients to use to be able to see what's happening in their house, be able to set their own notifications, and do all the custom things that has been lacking in Control4. So we think we've created something very special here. We hope you try it out and hope you use it. But now let's go ahead and get into our system notifications. What we wanted to do with our hardware and system notifications was to be able to create certain notifications that we wanted to track for our own installation company that we thought were important on a system, right? So you'll see here in the web UI, we have project loaded and updated. So if a project keeps rebooting a lot, we would want to know that as an integrator. We have drivers updated, added, and removed. So let's say a driver updates and then they call you and say, hey, this product stopped working. And you could see that a driver was just updated. You could see that easily. If somebody accidentally removed a driver, deleted something, you'd be able to see that as well. So those are important things we thought you would, maybe want to know as an integrator. We also added in composer logins and logouts, so you can know when your guys are logging in and when they're logging out. And we created hardware issues for lighting and climate devices as well. So the lighting devices we track currently are V2 and V3 lights, as well as Control4 panelized lighting modules. And then we're going to add in the Control4 Lux lighting soon as well. Variables we are tracking are overrated wattage, over temperature, and short circuit detected. So if any of those items happen, you'll be able to get an email on that. And what's great about this is all you have to do for these alerts is set them. So you could say, I want to send the owner a push, or I don't want to send them a push. I want to send them a voice alert, or I don't. The customer can do all these things themselves. We leave out the integrator because this is what you guys want, right? So we don't let the customer change what you want. So if you want to have all the emails come to you, you can do that. And again, they come through, as I showed you earlier, as that service email. Like with the composer logins and logouts, you can whitelist your domain name if you want. So if you don't want the customer to see when you log in, you could do that. If you don't care, you can hide that here. And you'll see here, if I go to composer logins, you'll see those are all matching here. If I were to turn these off, they turn off. So that's how easily this all works. We think this is awesome. And then I just show you briefly how the lighting hardware works. You'll automatically select any of the compatible lighting hardware in your project and start tracking those. Same thing with the climate devices. If you have Control4 thermostats, it will load those in and start tracking them. So there's the climate. I say I don't want a push alert on the climate, or if I do, I could just easily do that. So that's how all the system notifications work. Now let's briefly talk about the integration notifications. So with these driver notifications, these all tie to our Integration Plus and our Detection Plus drivers. As you load those in, you get pre-built alerts for each one of these drivers. So let me just go to a garage integration so you can see this. So you have door left open, door failed to open, door failed to close, door has open, door has closed. So we pre-build all these for you so you don't have to. You could also tie in a camera snapshot, right? So if I have on my door left open, I'm just going to throw in my backyard camera. So let's say I do that. It shows that in here. So if I were to go to my web UI and if I were to come here and go to my main garage door, let's do this one. We go to door has left open. You'll see there's the backyard camera. If I were to come here and change it to the package camera, it changes it to the package camera. If I say I do not want an owner email, I can turn that off. If I want a voice alert, I could do that. If I want to test this alert, let's go ahead and run a test.
Attention! Main garage door has been left open for more than _open minutes.
So there's the voice alert and there is the push alert. So there is the package camera. So anyway, so that's how all those work. To kind of show you all the different notifications we have. So doorbell, you have, his doorbell is pressed, muted, or the sound is changed. We went over garage, gate's the exact same. On our mode drivers, we just say that the mode is triggered. The lock integration, so certain door locks, if they have the user variable, we allow it to say door unlocked by John Smith. Those types of things. What's great about the garage too is it does the failed to open, failed to close. So you don't have to do any of these in programming. These are already pre-built. These are the 90% of the custom notifications our customers have asked us for over the 15 years we've been installing Control4 systems. So we wanted to pre-build all of them to save our guys time to install it and keep the notification consistency together in all of our Control4 projects. That's what we've created. We think it's very useful. We hope you guys like it. Again, here you have all these different custom pre-built notifications for you, so you don't have to do it, and the client can set them themselves. You can literally just get our drivers set up, show them this app, and then they can go in and set their own notifications the way they want them and how they want them. You can't do that in Control4 right now, so that's why I think this is an awesome system to install in every Control4 job. And finally, we built a whole bunch of programming tools to help out your technicians as well. But before we go on to that, I just want to mention that we do have our Integrator Tools Experience Bundle that includes all of our 14 drivers in one package. So if you want to do a client dashboard where you give them all these different web UIs, UI buttons, that show the actual status of their garage doors, their door locks, if it's open, closed, unlocked, unlocked. If any water sensors have a leak, the battery levels, all those types of things, I highly recommend just buying this bundle. You get all of these tools into one package. And then if you also want to integrate even further, we have our Cindev driver bundle as well. This one includes all of our drivers we've ever have made and or that we're going to make in the future as well. So if you sell Unify and you want this stuff, this would be a great package. If you want to include our OpenAI ChatGPT driver, if you want you sell Bond a lot, any lighting devices, all these drivers into one price, it's easy to quote into your Control4 projects. And also, if you would like a full demo of any of these drivers, please let me know. You can email me at info@cindev.com, and I'd be happy to spend time with you to go over how these drivers can help your own business. So let's go ahead and start on the programming actions that we've included into this driver. The first programming actions we're going to look at is your send custom alerts. So here you can send to multiple different ways. So if you type in one alert, you could send it many different ways. So for the example we're going to use is say when my package camera detects a package, I want a push alert, I want an email, and I want a voice alert. So we're just going to say attention Smith family, a package is at your door. Okay, so you just do that. We could tie in the package camera snapshot. And I can say I want a push alert, but we won't email the owner, we'll also just do a voice alert, right? So I'm going to put this over, my programming's done, I'm doing multiple different alerts, I don't have to go to 2 different agents to do this, it's all under one programming tool. So let's go ahead and execute this.
Attention Smith family, a package is at your door.
So there is the voice alert, here you'll see the push alert on my phone. If I were to go to it, you could see there it is. And here you'll see the same alert appear. So attention Smith family, package is at your door. And you see it was done as a push notification and a voice alert. That's what those symbols show there. Then the next one we have is just sending a push alert, right? You could just do that. You could also just do an email alert. And here is where you would be able to tie in. Let me get rid of this one. Let's just say this is the house is an alarm. I could just say, attention, your house is an alarm. Okay, and then I could tie in all my camera snapshots to it. Let's go ahead and hit OK. I could say I want to email the owner, and let's go ahead and do that one. I'm going to fire that off. When it comes through on my email, I'll pop it up on screen so you could see it. But you could also say you can do multiple groups in the same programming command. The best thing about this is if the homeowner were to move, if you use the Control4 email notification agent, you have to redo all your programming. Here, you just go into the owner's email address and you change it. And all your programming stays the same because it's emailing the owner email group, not an email address. I hope that makes sense. It's a lot to take in. Let me see if that email is here. It is. So here you can see the email that came through. Attention, your house is an alarm, with the 4 different snapshots from the house. So that's how easily you can do your emails. And then your voice alerts. Now in the setup, you can create multiple different announcements. So here, if you did, you could also pick those here. So let's say you wanted to have like outdoor speaker announcements and an indoor house announcements. If you wanted to do an announcement on your outdoor speakers, let's say for this house alarm is an alarm situation, I wanted to also do a voice alert to the outdoor speakers, I could easily do that here. You type in the same message, I pick my outdoor announcements, and now it would go on those outdoor speakers. And then finally, you have your Navigator pop-ups you can send individually as well. So all your different notifications all in one place, no hopping around between different drivers. That's the beauty of this driver. Like again, this is why it's my favorite driver that we've ever made. And what's great about this also is any notification you create in here will show up in this events tab. And you can also sort by different types of notifications. So you just want to say, I just want to see push notifications, you could do that. If you want to just look at your main garage door, you could look at just those types of notifications. The next programming action we're going to look at is if you want to mute those notifications. So I could come in here and I could say override notifications. I could pick my length of time and I could decide which ones I want to disable, okay? So now I could do that in programming is I could just have a custom button here to say mute for 4 hours or 8 hours, right? So in my custom buttons, I can come down here and I could say, let's say they're having a party and they don't want any voice alerts while they're having a party over their speakers, right? So you could just say, okay, for 4 hours, I don't want any voice alerts, disable them, you're done. That's how easy it is. And now they have notifications, voice alerts muted for the next 4 hours. You could do that with 8 hours. You could do that with any of these different options here. Next, we have your LED programming actions. So you can change backlight colors, the ambient light profiles, the status colors of your dimmers and switches, as well as your keypads. I'm not going to get into that on this video. Just play around with it, test it, see how it works for yourself. It's a great tool. Instead of having to go into each LED light and changing it yourself, you could pick up multiple lights and do them all at once. The next one is your turn off rooms. So again, here we know this is in Control4. You can just go to the room and turn them off. But let's say you wanted to just say, I want to do my main floor. I want to turn off the AV. I want to turn off the lights and I want to close the shades. You could do all of that with one programming action instead of making multiple programming actions for each one of those items. The next two actions you could also play around with are flashing your lights or randomizing your lights. So with flashlights, I could just pick multiple different lights. We don't recommend more than 10 because it just can bog down your system. You could pick how the interval in between the flashes and how long you want to run them for. Same thing goes with the randomized lighting. That just changes the different lights and how often they change colors. So this would be good for like occupancy, things like that. And then the next one we're going to get into is generating a QR code. But before we get into that, we just want to also let everybody know we also added in the action to refresh navigators. Not hugely important, but there might be some jobs where you want to give them a custom button to refresh their navigators. So we wanted to include that as well. So let's finish this video off by showing you how to generate a QR code with this. Okay, this is pretty simple. Again, here as my custom triggers, I have a guest Wi-Fi, or you could also use a custom button to do this as well from our power integration or many other drivers. But you just would pretty much type in the SSID. So let's just say it is guest Wi-Fi, okay? And then I'm just gonna put in password. And then as long as those two match, whatever that is, it will work. And then you say, what navigator do I want to pop it up on? So I'm going to say I want it to come onto my desk here. That's done. I'm going to go ahead and show it for 200 seconds. and pop it in here. And now if I go here, I'm going to turn on my camera for everybody so they could see that. Okay, let me go ahead and launch this guest Wi-Fi. There it pops up. You can see it says guest Wi-Fi. You could scan it and they'd be able to log in automatically on their phones. So that's how easily you can set up doing the guest Wi-Fi QR codes as well. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot about how to set up this driver and how to get the best out of it and make use of it. We think our new web UI is fantastic. It'll really help your customers be able to really control their own system. Again, you could buy this individually, or I highly recommend just buying it as part of the bundle. You get all of our other experienced drivers with it as well. And with those experienced drivers, you get pre-built notifications, which will save your guys' programming time, not having to do that themselves. So again, that's it for this video. Please leave any comments on what you liked, what you'd like to maybe see us add. And thank you so much for watching, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and feature videos. Have a great day.